Hello, everyone. Welcome to Moonride. If you do see some trolls, maybe give me a heads up and I'll try to delete them. We seem to be doing pretty well these days with the trolls. So I'll give you guys a minute to log on. I think it takes a little while to get from Australia to California. And I'll just sage up a little bit. Hi guys. Hi, how are you? Okay, looks like everybody's online. Oh, somebody's in Mexico. Great. I bet it's warm in Mexico. I'm not sure it's so warm in Scotland. But I don't know. I guess it's summer for you guys. I'm freezing here. All right, so let's take a look. Oh, thanks, you guys. Yeah, it's great to work with Violetta. Don't you really love the way that all of these people are working together so well? I just think it's really marvelous, the feeling of just everybody working together and not being so competitive. It's really an awesome feeling. I love you guys too. Hello, New Jersey and Oregon and Kentucky, right? And Montana. So let's see. Let's take a look here. Again, you guys, if you see some kind of trolls, maybe you just note it, and occasionally I'll open my eyes and try to see what's going on here. Let's see. Oh, 84 today. Yeah, okay. Richmond, Virginia. Everybody's here. So the first question today is it's about Jeff Berman. He's the attorney for the Southern District of New York. Apparently, another reader is seeing him as important to taking Trump down on embezzlement. Let's see about this guy, Berman, Jeffrey Berman. Right. And I don't know what Jeffrey Berman looks like. I have no idea about this person, which is sometimes good, you guys. I'll tell you, like, I often don't want to know anything before I start, because it means I'm not putting my own impressions or ego or memory inside here. It's really awesome when it's just totally cold. Berman, okay, Berman seeing the money. Berman's got a stack of gold stack of coins. What you doing there, Mr. Berman? Yeah, okay. He's looking. He is looking at Trump. Hmm. It's kind of interesting because Trump seems relatively unconcerned about this particular person. I think maybe Trump has bigger fires to put out right now, but I see him as doing this work. Let's see. It's almost like there's a line between the two of them, but it's not a direct line. It's sort of curved. I wonder if Trump even has any idea that this is going on, or maybe it involves his people who are working for him. It seems somewhat indirect. He's crossing his arms. This guy Berman is crossing his arms like this. I kind of have the feeling like he's going to wait. And that's the thing. He kind of does this, like he's waiting to see what will happen. One thing that I want to note about what's going on: there are a lot of things going on under the that we can't see. So understand that maybe that we really want certain things to happen right away. And definitely, I don't want to encourage anybody to stop putting pressure on the people in government who will check. But it's also the case that people are doing a lot of stuff. They're just here thinking, when do I need to do it? Because keep in mind, the head lawyer works for Trump. So we have every reason to believe that he will, if a case comes up, he'll suppress the witnesses. Trump can dangle pardons. It's a serious business how these guys are thinking. So that's kind of my feeling with him. Oh, why are you playing a piano? Okay, so Berman is playing a piano. Why? It's like playing my tune or catching the tune, or he's practicing maybe. He's preparing. Is that what we mean? Why is he playing the piano? Oh, I'm getting it's almost like expert pianist. he knows what he is doing, right? He is an expert. Understand that some of the people who are doing these things are experts. They really are good at what they're doing, and they're not allowed to talk about it. Again, don't think that we shouldn't keep putting this pressure on our leaders, but he seems like he's going to wait. So, okay, Spirit, is it about his taxes? It's about Trump's taxes. Yeah, and it does have to do with Stormy Daniels, for example. So this is an example where it appears I would do the same thing if I were the Southern District of New York. I would wait until Trump is not in office. Maybe you would even wait till if Trump actually wins a second term. I really hope he doesn't. But even then would be a better time because in some ways it would be harder to defend. So it might be that they're just waiting, ideally, for Trump to be gone and for Barr to be gone, and then they can't dangle any pardons, and they're going to get some real answers. So I think Hope Hicks is involved in this. She knows stuff. I mean, anybody who knows anything about Stormy Daniels, they are going to be involved in this, and I know that Hope is involved. Don Jr. is involved. All the Trump kids are actually involved. I see all of them. And they're waiting. They're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. So, Spirit, how is this going to go? How is he going to proceed and when? It's funny because they're giving me a bunch of dates, but these are actually dates in the past. So, like 2008, 2012. I have an idea that actually there are other years of taxation that they're looking at, not just the year that he paid off Stormy Daniels, but there are other years that they are seriously looking at, right? Again, it seems like 2008 and 2012, which would make a certain amount of sense. There's a beginning of the recession and towards the end of the Great Recession. Mm. So, can you tell me anything more about the taxes? Okay. They have to do with his buildings as well. It's something about the buildings maybe being worth more than they claimed they were worth. I know that for a fact. But I just see buildings when I'm wondering about this taxation. Oh, you guys, I forgot to put my phone or my headphones. Sorry. Okay. So, okay, looks like we're good. We're doing good with the troll factor. Just FYI, I asked Spirit to take control, and it seems to have worked. Although I really appreciate your help, so don't stop working there, guys. Let's see. Let's see. I hope Mueller's safe too, you guys. Man, that's been a real worry of mine. I was just worrying and worrying and worrying, like someone going to assassinate him. The only thing that we have now standing between total dictatorship is these kind of people and the fact that actually I think Trump could not get away with actually killing Mueller. I think he would do it if he could, but he can't. Let's see. How about this is Charlene. And it's interesting. Charlene's actually asking about Samantha Markle because she's been so quiet for the past couple of months. That's a very interesting question. I usually don't read on, people like that, and but it's really, she's an interesting character, isn't she? I know a lot of people really like and respect her. I bet she's got a tough job ahead. How about Markle? How about Samantha Markle? Okay, it's funny because I see your typical king, with the crown and the robes and all that stuff, and she's sitting next to the king. She doesn't look so engaged to him. She looks a little bit separate and a little bit disappointed. I know she's not married to the king. She's married to the king's younger brother. Oh, actually, that's a little bit better of an image. Okay. Okay. So actually, that's a bit better of an image. I think, the king, or I should say the future king, I don't know which one the king represents, she's a little bit different. But her husband seems fairly, I think it's Harry. He seems like a decent fellow. Yeah, actually, I'm going to say that they seem to be doing all right. There's their baby. Yeah, I think they had a baby, didn't they? There's their baby. People seem to be pretty happy about this thing. I'm going to say that I think she's doing all right. I'm glad to say this. I think that one thing that all of this horrible racism that is swirling around us, in some sense, I think that people like the royal family are aware and in a way kind of moving forward. Theresa May is not a progressive liberal at all, but she came out and she said that Trump was wrong for the things that he said. I think that in some sense of the word, certain people who are relatively conservative are moving forward in this. They seem like they're being pretty nice to her too. I think there's something in it that they kind of appreciate about her even more than that. Now, remember how awful it was for poor Diana. I mean, it was just awful to move into it, this stiff, very, public family. I mean, it's just going to be difficult because you are a public figure, which, is more than you expect, I'm sure, for these people. She seems like she's doing all right. She's actually seems really happy. I'm glad to see this, right? I'm glad to see she's happy. It's funny because the song "Strawberry Beret." She's actually got one of those berets on by Prince, and she's taking the beret and she's like throwing it up in the air, like kind of like Mary Tyler Moore. If you're old enough to remember what that is, she seems really happy. She seems to be enjoying life. I think that there is something of value here. I think it's really awesome that an American who is not, lily white, married into that family. I think that she's bringing some energy to them and some understanding to them. And, nobody's telling her to go back to her country, right? So good for her. Good for her. And I mean, she's not just being passive and nice. I think she's really coming forward and engaging people and kind of bringing the group up to a new level that I don't think that they would have ever experienced if they did not, let's call it integrate the family and make it a little better of a reflection of the real world, right? Can you think of anybody in the royal family who isn't, white as could be? I don't know. There's just a certain perspective that she brings. Is there anything else about her? Mm, anything else about Markle? Markle, let's see. Again, it all seems to be good. She also seems to be adjusting to the life fairly well. So it's not just a one way. She's also coming up to meet it and sort of living up to those responsibilities. I think she's a very well educated woman, isn't she? I think she went to an Ivy League college. So, she's familiar with rich people and how they act. And she's got a brain and such that she can figure out how to do it. But I do really feel like it's almost like they came to some mutual agreement. And, maybe the royal family is a little bit proud that they lived up to being something better. I'm not sure if you guys know this, but Queen Elizabeth II actually is a little bit surprisingly progressive at moments. She, for example, gave a lot of grief to the Prince of Saudi Arabia. She got him into a car and drove all over the place with him screaming in the background because, of course, she wanted to make the point that they can't drive. Women can't drive in his country. So anyway, let's see. Anything else for them? They have done. I feel pretty good. They're there with their baby. I think they feel really happy with the babies that they've had. In some sense of the word, it's making up for other litigious events involving members of their family. Who knows where that's going to go? And I'm not going to touch that one in this in this reading, right? So let's see. Yes, it's a really important day tomorrow, you guys. I hope you can get some sleep. I'm kind of tempted to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and see what's going on. And I may not. Let's see. How about Janice? Janice is asking if there's going to be an interim president. If Trump goes out before the end of the term, who will be the president? Will it be Pence? And by the way, Janice gave to Catholic Charities of the Rio Grande Valley. At the end of this reading, I'll give you another place that one of the viewers sent to me that seems to be doing good work. Sleepless in Honda. Okay. Let's see. So back to our question about the interim president. Yeah. Hmm. There's Trump. And I see him going like almost to the day of the end of the election. It's like really close. It's like I just see this tiny little space. You understand that there's nothing to stop Pelosi and the others from impeaching him 6 months before he's elected. And in a way, it's a good plan because it will distract Trump. He won't have time to campaign. It'll give a lot of energy to the left. It'll give everybody something to talk about. Trump won't be able to just fire off nasty comments about people. He'll have to respond. So I wonder if that's not there. Maybe I'll read on that next. But let's just see about interim president. My first hit is Pence for a week. Like, yeah, they'll get rid of him, but maybe even a month or 3 weeks or something. Now, I often see this. It feels to me like it's not even necessarily the impeachment that gets rid of him. Because I always see Mitch McConnell. I always see his face. And I always see him doing the same thing. Are you going to do the same thing? Yeah, and Lindsey Graham and other Republicans. I always see them as the one who goes to Trump and says, you got to leave. Now it's possible that he loses the election and tries to stay anyway, and they tell him to leave. It's possible that Trump loses his mind, and they're like, hey, if you don't leave, we're gonna, put you in a, padded cell somewhere. Come here, you guys. What are you going to do? What are you thinking? They're pointing to his head. They do kind of give me the indication that he's losing his mind. And Lindsey Graham looks kind of embarrassed, like, oh, maybe I should have supported this guy in the first place, and now I look really bad. I think those two are somewhat scared for their own positions. So let's just ask you guys, why are you kicking him out? They're laughing at me like, hey, man, you don't know why we're kicking him out? Really? We know. Everybody knows why we're kicking him out. Okay, but could you be a little bit more specific? It's a brain thing. They keep showing me his brain. I wonder if Alzheimer's isn't going to kick in. One thing that I've been told is that how people get really rageful, and they think if they get really rageful, it gets the rage out of them. And they're like, oh, I'll feel better if I scream. I'll just scream at somebody and I'll feel better. Well, the truth of the matter is it doesn't make you feel better. It just creates a pattern in your brain where you always go there and you're always screaming, and it's bad on your body. It's bad on your heart. It's bad in your brain. It actually causes more problems doing this. So if anybody's got anger issues, I know I had a lot of anger issues, and I've had a pattern like this. It's just so American. It's so genetic. But I had to really confront them because a doctor told me, like, dude, you can't keep getting so angry. It will make it, if it's expressed in the way that it's expressed, it's not good for you. So it'll kill you, not to mention ruin your relationships. So I wonder if Trump isn't just gonna blow his stack. Imagine how much pressure Trump is under. Now, he's got to win this election. If he doesn't, then he's going to jail. I mean, the minute he's out of that office, there are 15 lawsuits that are going to attack him. If he stays in there, they'll wait, but they won't go away. So this man is under tremendous pressure to act. Any misstep that he makes leading up to the election is going to really harm him psychologically, physically, all that stuff. So don't be surprised if he is taken out of there. I see them taking him out of there right now. Like arms behind your back, you need to go. They're not really asking. They're like, we're not really talking to you about this. Like, we'll bring this doctors here and we'll pull you out of here if we need to. So what do you want to do? And I always see Trump doing this, breaking things. He's like going through the hall and he's breaking priceless items and throwing them on the ground. He's just throwing a temper tantrum. And maybe it's not literal. Maybe this is a figurative, and it might just be that figurative, just in a sense, he really is destroying America. He really is destroying something priceless like our Constitution, but it might be literal. Yeah, it's like he's ripping at tapestries. He's just so mad, which makes me think he's just not going willingly. That might be he lost the election. That might be he tries to stay after he loses the election. But I get a real feeling of responsibility from these Republican senators. Like they must do this, or they and the whole country will be in a lot of trouble. So it's not something that they want to do. It's not something that's good for the Republican Party per se, but they got to do it. They're just they've got no other choices. Realize that these senators, they're there for life, right? They don't want to give up their job. So if they have to get rid of Trump to keep their own jobs, they'll do it. And depending on what happens in the next year, that might be necessary. Trump isn't going to leave voluntarily, and he's going to run again. As a matter of fact, no one else is allowed to run against him. He set that up. Anything else about the interims? I do get Pence, but I get Pence for like a really short time. It's not a time that matters. It's not a time where he can actually do anything. He's at the helm. Okay, so Spirit, are you telling me something else right now about the rockets? What are the rockets? Okay. So there's a ship, there's rockets. Iran is doing something. This is totally off topic, you guys, but Spirit's just sending me this rocket information right now. I see a couple of jets. I think those are jets, not rockets. Yeah, there's a man in them. Okay, they're sending. I don't know if these are. These look like American planes. I think even one of them gets shot down, perhaps. Maybe I tangentially went on this subject because I think Iran is one of those things that's going to cause a lot of harm for Trump. We had a perfectly good treaty under Obama, and now we've got this problem, which nobody's really talking about. I mean, this would be a total crisis if we were not focusing on the other 20 crises. Should I say crises that are happening right now? Tell me more about this. Trump is desperate to make a deal with Iran. And they have the power, right? Okay, anything more? Let's see. That is hard to know too much. Yeah, I think Epstein's got something on everybody. Also, will he be able to cut the food stamps? These are great questions. Let's see if I can just get anything more on Iran. Or anything more. I don't see like major crisis per se. Let me take a look at that. Okay, but it's going to get close. There's Iranians, want nuclear weapons. They're moving towards it. I don't see a bomb, but I see them trying to get closer to that. And that is going to be the crisis. I think Trump is going to be desperate and he's going to have to make a deal. And it's not going to be a good one. It's not going to be as good as the last one. They're going to get closer to their nuclear armaments. Okay, anything about these rockets? Again, one gets, and I think they're American airships, and I think one actually does get shot out of the sky. I think it gets this close to a serious conflict. Spirit, is Trump going to try to go to war with Iran? No, he does not want a war with Iran. That is the last thing that he wants to deal with right now. He's got so many irons in the fire right now. He will not want to go there. Now, it might seem surprising. It would be a way that he tries to take over, right? Because then he'd have his emergency powers. But he just keeps going, no, I don't want to do that. I think he realizes that this is going to be too much, even for his base to accept. All right. Let's see if I've got any more questions. Okay, I think actually no. And you guys posted a couple of things. Mm, any chance Bernie will be president? Yeah, I know it's a question. He is really being attacked, and I know a lot of people have pointed out that he's getting older and he doesn't seem to have quite the fight in him. But I have a lot of respect for the fact that he changed the page on this sort of Democratic Party. Let's take a look at Bernie. Is there any chance that he would get elected? I get him going, "Meh, maybe. It's not impossible." I think that he's still there. I mean, it might be even he's the vice president or something like that. Let's just ask one more time. So, right now, everybody remember, it's long before the election. Everything can change. So, maybe the best question is to ask which candidates are looking good. First picture I get is Warren. I get Warren again and again and again. Warren's got her hands on her hips. She's just looking at me like, I'm ready. Okay, Elizabeth, tell me, what do you think? What's important here to know? She's just got great plans. She has things really organized. The day that she enters office, she will know what she is doing. She will be like number one, number two, number three. She's got a plan for everything. She's a really well organized person. Mm. Yeah, so this is looking good. It's looking great for Warren. Anything else? So maybe we'll ask Spirit. What do you think about what advice should I give for Warren supporters? What what would she need to know to help her? Ah, interesting. I get almost like a little box like this, and it's sort of like keep within the confines of the box. Like, don't let Trump distract you with his nonsense. You have to approach him and say no to him and all that stuff. You have to, counteract what he says. I don't see why people don't. They're so unable to throw it right back at him and move on. Right? Just say that he looks like Oompa Loompa or Humpty Dumpty and move on. Why not? Well, you can throw a barb and still be able to stay on track with the topic, or even point out that you're not going to get distracted by Trump like so many people have. That seems like stay within the confines of what is useful. The plan that you got is useful. Don't go way aside from outside of these plans. Appeal to people as Americans. One thing that I notice is that Trump always has the moral high ground. He always gets to say, like, I'm American and people in my group are American. No one could be less American than Donald Trump. A true patriot would have, given up his task, given up this job, and said, I shouldn't be president because I'm involved in Russia. Even if it looks bad, I should give up this job. I mean, that's what a patriotic person would have done. They certainly wouldn't have asked Russia to, undermine an election. So, there's no reason why the left, the Dems, can't say, you guys are the enemy. Trump, when he was in position, he was always criticizing the government as if it's different from us. So it's us versus the government. The wedge that he drives is saying, no, we're the good people. You are the bad people in bed with the government. How'd that happen? I mean, most people are, poor, middle class, working class, and they're not rich. So how did they get on the same team as Trump? How about if they just, people started putting things in the context of, this is what these powerful people are doing. We're on the same team. There's a way to do that, and she would be wise to keep doing that. I know that she has been able to move a lot of people in that direction. Let's go back to Bernie and see if we get anything for Bernie. Bernie's still looking pretty good. He's not out of the race. He's kind of floating around. That's the thing. It's like he's kind of floating around. He doesn't quite have his own lane. And that's the problem that I have. It's almost like his ideas are there or his influence is there. I don't see him fitting the role perfectly. That doesn't mean he won't, but I just don't see him convincing people now. He's just kind of around everybody. He's above Warren. He's to the sides of Warren. He's not disappearing, and he's smiling. Mr. Sanders, what's going to happen? He keeps giving me a thumbs up. So what does that mean? I get potential vice president. Hmm. Yeah, I get potential vice president. So again, these are not fixed in stone. Everything's going to change before the election. These are just the possibilities that are existing right now. And he's be really good as a vice president. Again, I think he has a bit of a no nonsense, get to the point attitude, a bit like Warren. And by the time these guys are getting towards closer to the election, I think people will really recognize the value of it. I think part of what's going to happen with Trump is that people will get bored, people will get worried. Nobody's really running anything. It's dangerous. I think that a lot of people in the middle are going to watch his antics over the next year and just see them repeat and repeat. The more Trump does these horrible things, actually, it does galvanize the left. Because that's what I see him doing. He's trying to stick a poker in everybody's eye, and people are watching it and going, "Wow, you're the schoolyard bully." I didn't like him either when I was 8. Anything else for the? I do get Kamala Harris in there too. She seems to be floating around, maybe as a position. Yeah, those 3 come up, and I couldn't think of a better ticket than those 3. Wherever they are positioned, I might rather have a progressive as president, but I'd be really glad to have Kamala Harris as the attorney general. We know she'd get some convictions. Anything else that we can know? What's else that we can know about our election? Look, this is the advice that I get for Democrats. Appeal to everybody's Americanness. Stop dividing the country. Appeal to everyone as being an America and what America values are and what they represent. I understand that in our culture, there's this big rift. Are Americans only about money, or are we about a way of life, which includes a constitution and equality and civil rights and all that stuff? The Republicans have basically replaced one for the other and said it's all about money. Who cares about ethics and morality? Right? We don't care about that. What we care about is cash. And it's almost like money has become this divine thing. Whereas there's other people who are saying, this is what America is. This is what our values are. And I don't know why, but I'm getting 61%. I don't know why, but 61% seems to be a positive win for the left. And I get Trump as actually lower than 40. I could get him dropping maybe 36%, then lower. All right, let's see if you got one more question here. Yeah, I know. Swalwell stepped down. Yeah, racism. You're right about that. Buttigieg is a good question. Yeah, good questions, you guys. So let's see. Somebody asked about the Black Hawk helicopters in DC. Yeah, that's a really good question too. Let's take that one first. What are they doing with those Black Hawks? Because I just read about this morning, that they're doing this Black Hawk thing next to DC, and nobody knows what they're doing. Obviously, we're really concerned because Trump might basically try to have a military coup and take over the government. What are those Black Hawks doing next to DC, Spirit? There is some element of surveillance. And I do get that they are surveilling protests. Okay, they're surveilling the protesters. They're getting on the radio to talk about them and what they're doing. So it doesn't feel like anything more. I do see massive protests, and I haven't seen protests for a while, but I do see massive protests really filling the streets. And as we are doing this, I feel like it's that they're just watching. They're seeing these people and they're trying to find if they're doing something illegal. So remember, when you go to those protests, be really careful. Do not do anything illegal. Be totally peaceful. That's what the cameras are going to focus on. If there's one person out of 10,000 that does something wrong, all the cameras will rush there and we will all be stereotyped as these crazy lefty fanatics. Be really sure. And also, you can count on people going to those rallies to try to make people look bad. So if you see somebody doing something wrong or violent, it's up to everyone in that place to go and say, look, you need to stop doing that, or I'm going to call the police. You can't, break windows. Don't turn over the cars. Those people could very well be plants from the, Russian government or the, crazy right-wing Breitbart, just to make people look bad or try to incite people. I would say right away, we got to have people within the marchers whose job it is just to seek that out, because that's what they're going to be looking for. And that's what almost like they're hoping for, right? The right wing would be really glad if we start rioting. Okay, what are those people doing over there? I get a curve of the earth. I'm not sure why I'm getting the curve of the earth. There's the helicopter. The earth is curved. Okay, I'm seeing an eclipse, right? Obviously, that has a good deal of meaning for the man of the moon, but the eclipse is moving. So it seems like maybe we'll have a better idea fairly soon about what they're doing, because I think it's hidden now, but it will be clear. Can you tell me more about these people? Well, they're not. Again, intentionally trying to take over the government. They seem neutral, like they don't seem left or right. They might be a little bit conservative because of their psychological, social backgrounds, but they're not crazy. All right, what else are they doing? I think it is part of it is a concern for terrorism. Part of it is a concern that in the last election, they sent spies. Russia sent spies into our government. Not getting anything else. It's really vague. It's really unclear what's going on. I'm not getting anything except they're sort of surveilling, and I get this curve of the earth. Oh, okay. I think that they want a perspective above the protests or above the city. They want a perspective from above to see where things are going and what is happening. That's all I get from it. All right. Okay, you guys, I promised to read you another question and I lost it. Uh-huh. Somebody's pointing out, I think the women will take him down. I sure hope so. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be great if will it be protests after Mueller speaks? That's a really good question. When are these protests? December. December. Okay. And it's the same people who wore the pink hats? I should say the same group of people, largely women, who wore the pink hats the last. Why December? What's going on in December? Again, a real question of America and American values and rights. Somebody asked about this, bigotry that we are experiencing, this horrible racism that we see right now. And I think you were right, you guys. I think that is that's the side we all need to be on. It's just to show, whatever color you are, some solidarity, and to say this is not American. Telling an American to go back to their home country is not an American thing to do, especially when they are Americans, right? And Americans who have been elected in America in a free and fair election, which is more than you can say for Trump's. Okay. Anything else about these protests? Again, I get a big old American flag, and I get like a whole group of people standing there, different races, everybody's working together, right? Um, okay, let's take a look. They reported the troll, blocked and reported. Oh, okay. All right, so I don't see this person. Okay, guys, good job at blocking. Well done. Trump doesn't know food can be bought in stores. Right. Okay. Let's see. Let's get to current. Um, Question from Donna. Protester in December. Trump isn't out in August, as some say, or September. Gosh. Well, I'm personally, I've not necessarily seen Trump leave that quickly, but let's see if I get a feeling. So I'll try to just erase, and see where we get with Trump leaving. Huh. I do get 2019. Do we have any dates for Trump leaving? Yeah, I get a February date. Sometime in February. And obviously that's not 2019. Right? So I know that we have an election coming up, but the election is 2020. Next year is 2019. So sorry guys, I'm like, when I do this I can't even tell the date. This is 2019, David. Okay. So could it be in 6 months? Could we expect it in December? I get December protests. I think that maybe it has something to do with his impeachment. Maybe he does things that are worse. There really seem to be very big protests, and they seem to be very direct. Like Congress people coming to meet them on the steps because they have to. They have a situation that they have to handle. And I see the Republican Congress people making a statement. Again, it looks like Mitch McConnell in his nervy way. He seems really nervous. Like he's afraid that the people will, tear him apart. I think he's also afraid of his own base. Okay, so Spirit, what about dates? 2019, I get 2019. I think there are maybe September some events that happen, maybe more protests. And I get a 2019 date. Okay. No, it might be 2020. I'm not at all sure about this. It might be. Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. This is really vague. I'm not sure it's clear in the universe yet. I'm not sure that every detail is out there. I'm pretty good on Trump leaving, but I'm not actually super positive when he will leave. I mean, it might even be that he, God forbid, gets elected again and then he goes crazy. That could be possible. I don't have the feeling that will happen. I feel like he will leave before the end of his term by force. So somebody asked for something like, what can we hang our hat on? That's a good question, Spirit. What can we hang our hat on? What can we count on? Mueller. You can count on Mueller to tell the truth, and you can count on Mueller to make a difference. What he says will matter. And it'll matter a lot more than the report, because the report literally went in the trash can for 40% of the American people. They have no idea what it says. The news told them what it says, so they moved on. But this will be different. Listening to him speak will be different for some people. It will take time. It won't be instant. But once he says what he says, it'll kind of bit by bit by bit by bit, people will start seeing and considering what's going on. And I also get that the Pelosi, et cetera, they'll start getting the tax returns and things that they need. Once the Mueller speaks, there will be more momentum. Yeah, Pelosi seems quite pleased with herself in this image. She's showing this stuff. She's showing this paperwork. She's like kind of holding up what looks like subpoenas or something like that. She's got a bunch of papers in her hand. There's definitely like 3 or 4 stacks. So I think there's big stuff coming down the pipe for her. She seems radiantly happy. Chuck Schumer seems very happy. They're going to get some stuff on him pretty soon. I wouldn't be surprised if Hope Hicks comes back and testifies. She's appearing for me. Somebody else asked one more question about Buttigieg. Buttigieg is actually somebody I just haven't really followed that much. So again, I'm totally clear. It's unknown for me. I don't think he's going to succeed. I just don't see him. It's kind of like he just sort of fades and drops. I don't think he totally disappears out of political life, but I don't get that he could be president. It doesn't seem, it seems like he's still competitive, he's still around. He might have some, political influence in the future. He doesn't disappear entirely, but he's not rising. I mean, Elizabeth Warren, every time I see her, she's rising. And Bernie's never out of the picture. He's always kind of floating around. I almost think that those guys, they might switch positions before the presidency. I don't know how that's going to go. I do feel like Warren's number 1, and I do feel like Bernie is a potential number 2. I definitely get Harris. All right, somebody else pointed out that, we've got to be on the same side as opposing racism. I think this is important. Americans are being compelled to make this choice, and it's an important choice that we haven't made in, a generation of what do we mean? What does it mean to oppose racism? What does it mean to be an American? What's a pluralistic society that includes, everybody and has disagreements and works things out? What's that mean? And I think that's a very key thing, that we are making a choice, and everybody's making a choice here too, because I don't care what race you are, whatever. We're all going out and voting. We're all working together. We're doing more than we would normally do. We're not just going to vote. We're going and talking to people, and we do really have to realize there's some people who aren't going to change their mind, but there's a sliver of people who might, and that's what we have to show the difference and be as appealing to those people as possible. We cannot exclude anyone from this movement. So we have to, go and let everybody know that, a pluralistic society is better. In terms of setting the terms of the team, it has to be, this is our team. We include everybody. The only people that we're really opposing are those who would, maybe the 0.01% who have all the money. It has to become this kind of argument, because Trump keeps dividing groups of people. He's cleaving them out. I have to apologize. The other day, I was talking about the percentage of African Americans who had supported Trump, and I said it was 10%. That is wrong. It is only 8%. My bad. And I hope I haven't done a disservice here to single out one group of people. I didn't mean to do that at all. So again, I profusely apologize if in any way I meant to do that. They are the lowest group in terms of who voted Trump. So realize that if any group of people would be responsible, it would be my own self, or should I say my own group of people. But I did want to point out how, there's people within these minority groups that, they're going to be convinced when you show them some of the evidence now. I think, it was something like 23% of Latinos, Hispanics voted for him. I wonder if he's going to be able to do that next time around. So you guys, there's our in. That's how we change things. We go to those 25% of the people and go, look, these are kids in cages. I mean, I know you believe in these conservative ethics, but really, Maybe not all of them are going to be convinced, but some of them are. And I think that we have to be very inclusive and go to, white males and say, look, you're not excluded from this. You can be on our team. Everybody's on our team. It has nothing to do with race. We are the team of people that believes that everybody's on the team. And come on, you're not one of those guys, are you? Come on, you're part of the team, right? And any kind of verbal analogies, any kind of slogans. I'm keep waiting for somebody like Elizabeth Warren to come up with a really good slogan. Trump always has this America's best. It's so simple. People like conclude something from that. We need our own slogan, which is like everybody belongs, or everybody's an American. This is our home. Whatever that is going to be, that needs to be. Remember, we're all working on this. We all have to work our own angles. Everybody has their own prejudices. You might have a prejudice against, middle-aged white guys, and I would understand a little bit if you have that prejudice. That is a normal thing. But remember that, insofar as we are all prejudiced, we also have something that says prejudice is wrong, and that we move in that direction to include. Don't jump to any conclusions about a person that you meet. Assume that they are a potential supporter. And if they show you that they're not, just turn the page. It's also very difficult not to take some of these things personally. That is Trump. He's trying to emotionally get you to, yeah, I'm a racist. Are you going to be a racist? He's trying to do that. I'm really proud to see so many people have not gone there. They have totally risen above this. They are better than that. I mean, look at the Fab Four. Did you hear any one of them say, Bernie's an old white man? Did you hear one of them say that? No, they are totally inclusive people. So in a way, I think this shift towards those four is awesome, right? They reflect my values as an American, right? Great. Anything else? I kind of feel like I should mention something about the Fab Four, right? And you guys know I'm talking about Fab Four. I call them that because it's Omar, AOC, Tlaib, Presley, right? Those four, they just seem so cool to me. If you were going to a party, who would you rather go with? Those four or Donald Trump? Who would you rather go with, right? And keep a note, I'm getting this message too. Keep your eyes on the Epstein case. It will implicate a lot of people, and it will implicate Trump. And that is one of the major ends into this election. Is this just, you can't get any more clear than child abuse. You can't be on that team. Nobody can be on that team if they have any ethics, no matter what your politics are. And this will be a really important move. If you maybe notice that in many videos that many people have seen, many psychics and channelers have seen, they have seen that Trump, that's what really gets him. That's what really undermines him. All right. So anything else, Spirit? Okay, sun is shining. Okay, whatever you're doing in this fight, understand that the fight is a good fight, that we are all evolving in this fight. So even if there's setbacks, even if there's negatives, even if you feel really bad some days, even if you just want to scream sometimes, understand that you are evolving and becoming a better person. You are moving your way into this sort of new space in the light that we're creating. It's very stressful to be in that period of time. Just like you can imagine, 1943 in Europe would have been a very, very difficult time because it's so pivotal and there's so much going on, and you don't necessarily see the shift is happening. But understand that that is happening. I get a beautiful image of American society evolving. I get bright sun, and a whole sea of American people, every race, creed, and class, people who are disabled, people who are, can't see. All these people are together, and they're all like, kind of basking in this new light. Understand that, we will evolve in this way. Ultimately, even if there are setbacks, you cannot stop this from happening. Understand that we really are also, I've been told this message, we really are in a battle of good versus evil. What good is what we are learning and understanding and defining. It's not a finished question. It is an evolving question. question. It is a question of us becoming and knowing this is good. Now we have a contrast. That's not good. That is badness. So don't, while we're in this fight, don't be disheartened if it seems really emotionally, tearing you apart. That is totally understandable. Hopefully you have people you can talk to about this. Even if you live in a place where you're surrounded by the other political party, hopefully you're able to open up. I would say that is key. Find people who you agree with and who you can talk to, just to be able to let it out, because it's really hard out there. I'm just hearing from so many people. They're so worried. I totally understand where you're coming from, because I am worried, but I do feel like we're going to win this battle. All right. So, oh yeah, and Epstein's tomorrow. I'll be watching that one, you guys. All right, I will try to give you guys another video this week. It might be tricky because I got a lot going on right now, but I will do my best. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. And I'll be doing this again next week, next Wednesday. And again, the offer is still open. Make any donation, either to help people at the border, to end this horrific racism that we are experiencing in our time. Anything, ACLU, I'm happy with any donation that you make, or any donation to any organization that will defeat the the reigning party of Republicans. Anything that will do that. Just send me a question. Be sure that your question is not too personal, because sometimes people are asking questions about themselves, and I'm not going to go say, hey, Bob, your divorce is going to be great. That might be a little bit weird for you. Just send those questions. I'm available too if you ever want a reading. You can look at my websites, which I try to post on every reading. There's a website, and you can go to it, and it has all the prices and stuff. And there are also links to the two other channelers who I've been working with, Anand and Anita. Definitely check those two out, because they are brilliant. I'm telling you, brilliant people. They've been really helpful for me. So you can do this. If you do just want to give the $7 donation, if you want to just give the donation to help hungry children, I'm totally okay with that. If you can note that, and if you've got some kind of receipt, that's great. I'm generally trusting people on this, because I just don't think people are going to lie about that. So, but just send it along with a question. Try to make it fairly clear what you want to know, and I will read it at this time again next week. Thanks so much, you guys. Love you all. Take care.